What's up? I'm Spencer from Ice 9 Kills, and you're watching richardthinks.org.
Hey everybody, this is Richard of richardthinks.org. We are at Empire in Springfield, Virginia. Kickoff date of the New Kings tour. I have with me Spencer of Ice 9 Kills. How you doing today, man?
Doing great. Looking forward to starting the tour.
All right. First tour of the year. And you guys just released The Predator Becomes the Prey on Outerloop. Man, we got a lot to talk about. So first of all, I guess, how's the reception been so far since, you guys released The Predator last year, and now you released The Predator Becomes the Prey last week. So how's that all been so far?
It's been great. The fan reaction's been awesome, and the record's doing well. We really can't complain. Everything's going well.
Now, my question is, you guys signed with Outerloop Records, like after kind of just seeing, doing things yourself a bit and promoting yourselves. How did that whole collaboration come about?
We worked with Outerloop management for a couple of years and just got to know those guys really well. And when they decided to start a label, and we were looking for a label, it just made sense. So it was like the perfect fit kind of thing.
Yeah, and being the first band to be signed, that's got to be huge.
Yeah, it's really exciting. First band on the label. Everything's going well with them, and we can't wait to see what happens in the future.
Now, you guys shot a music video, I believe, yesterday. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
It's all secret, top secret, but you will see soon, I promise.
All right. Now, you guys just like I said, you released The Predator Becomes the Prey, and last year you guys released The Predator. Well, there's obviously a correlation between the two, the titles. Can you tell me a little bit more about that? Yeah,
the first part of the story is The Predator, and lyrically, it precedes The Predator Becomes the Prey, and storyline and mythology and all that sort of stuff. So if you want to hear the second part of the story, you got to pick up the second album, The Predator Becomes the Prey.
Now, what inspired you to kind of make the story between the two?
I just thought it would be cool. We're big movie fans, and you don't see too many records come out from bands that, relate to each other in a way. So we wanted to sort of do a cinematic kind of thing and, have part one and then part two. We thought it would be a cool thing for the fans and satisfies our kind of creativity and, interest in movies and stuff like that.
Now, which movie in particular probably inspired this story, so to speak?
I wouldn't say any movie really inspired the story, but the whole idea of just, film franchises with sequels. We like horror movies a lot, and, things like Friday the 13th and the Halloween series. Obviously, there were many sequels to those movies, so that's, I think, probably where we got the inspiration to do a sort of a sequel to the first record.
Awesome. Now, is there any song in particular on this album that kind of sticks out from the rest?
I'd say one song in particular that's pretty cool lyrically is a song called Jonathan, and it was written from the perspective of a friend of mine who's almost completely blind. So that was sort of an interesting thing to do because, a lot of our other songs are mainly from, our perspective, but in this particular song we sort of put ourselves in someone else's shoes, someone who is obviously facing quite a tragic turn of events. So that one I think sticks out in my mind as being one of the favorites for me.
Now, I've noticed that you guys use a lot of popular culture and memes to promote your material and everything. Now, what would you advise other bands to follow suit, maybe, because a lot of labels don't promote as much as their artists do, and so sometimes they have to take that upon themselves. How do you feel about that?
I think, we were doing it for so long without a label that we had to figure out on our own how to promote our music. So it's kind of just happened organically. No one was going to be there to come up with marketing ideas and, strategic ways to get our music in front of more people. So it's sort of our whole marketing campaign and the way we do things sort of just developed out of necessity.
You guys did the parody too. I watched that one.
Yeah, we did the American Psycho parody.
What do you guys have planned for after this tour?
After this tour, we're doing a short headlining run with For All I Am and this band Sylar and Chasing Safety. Sort of moving our way towards the Texas festivals in March, like South by Southwest and South by So What. And then we have a couple months off, and then we have a big tour that we're going to announce pretty soon, planned after that.
Any hints?
I can't really give any hints, but it's good.
All right. Well, thank you very much again for your time, Spencer. Spencer from Ice 9 Kills, richardthinks.org, and we will see you later.